are now entering Nick and Mello's hyperspace.
Hello, I'm Carmelo, and I just came back from Star Wars Celebration Anaheim, and I had a wonderful time.
And I'm Nick, and I've always wanted to go to Star Wars Celebration, but I have not got a chance, so today I'm going to live vicariously through Carmelo.
In our journey through hyperspace, we examine everything and anything Star Wars from the point of view of two lifelong fans, one young, one old, who came together through the will of the Force.
And as we mentioned in the intro, this episode, we're going to talk about Carmelo's experience at Star Wars Celebration this year, kind of pick his brain about what he liked, maybe what he didn't like, and go from there.
And we're hoping that this show is for people who were there and they can compare notes, and people who have never been, and maybe the show will be your tipping point for seeing the show, for going to the show. Next time it's going to be in London. So we got to rob a bank. I'm not going to make it because it's in the middle of the semester, and Nick is not going to either. But we're all hoping that maybe 2025, Revenge of the Sith anniversary, it will come back to the United States. Maybe we'll be in Orlando, and that way it's just a drive for Nick and Haley to come down to Orlando, and I can just fly down, and we could do something there. That could be really fun.
I guess I just wanted to start with. I know this is your third celebration, correct? You went to Orlando in 2017 and then Chicago in 2019.
That is correct.
Right in your backyard. So what about, I guess the first thing I want to ask you is what was different with this one compared to those two?
You know, the thing that I found most interesting is that Anaheim spaces for the panels were much better than the ones in Chicago. The fan stage was just really, really awesome. Some of the stages in Chicago sort of made for Celebration, and they were like in the middle of the rooms, and it was just odd. And the Anaheim Convention Center had really good spaces for the different panels. I didn't manage to go to many of them because Carmelo doesn't like standing in line, and Carmelo never wins anything. So when I played the lottery to get into the panels, nothing happened. I managed to go to one panel, which was the panel for Star Wars Visions. Cool. And that was really quite interesting, and it was fun sort of getting a little more context on the show and what they're doing next and all of that. It was really nice being in a place that it wasn't snowing. Because in Chicago one day it snowed. The snow troopers had a blast. The cosplayer snow troopers ran outside to take pictures. But it was cold. It was a cold weekend, and so it was good weather for cosplaying. It was very good weather for cosplaying. And California is expensive. I haven't added it up, but
I'm sure it hurt the wallet.
I am really afraid of adding it up. Really afraid of adding it up.
You mentioned, the stage was much better, and the lottery system. I know that's something kind of new they've introduced. I know that hasn't always been the case with the panels at the celebration. Can you explain what that is?
I think when I went to the one in Orlando, I was only there for one day, so I took out of the formula the idea of even trying to go to panels. But I think in Orlando, the whole idea of standing in line at 3 a.m. or the night before to be in a major panel, that was still the rule. I think Chicago was the first time where there was some sort of lottery system. It might have been different from the one they did in Anaheim. You know how Star Wars fans love to complain about lots of things.
Yes.
When they created the lottery in Chicago, the fans were sort of like, "You're taking away our lines," and I was like, "Yeah, you're taking away your not showering." I was very pleased not having to deal with that. But there were some grumblings about the system of the lottery had changed again or something. I'm not really sure. But in the past, it was you stand in line for hours and hours and hours and hours and try to get into the panels. When I was when it was here in Chicago, I managed to go to the Clone Wars last season panel, and that was amazing. That was just amazing.
Oh, wow.
And it was in an arena. It almost looked like a basketball court arena, and there were thousands of people there. In Anaheim, I only did that one panel. So the one on Star Wars Visions. And one of the really interesting things about that panel is that the first half was about the creators, like the people, the producers that sort of put the show together. And the second half of the show was about the voice actors. So they brought the voice actors to talk about doing these sort of anime pieces based on Star Wars. And at the very end, they told us there's going to be a second season. We don't have dates for it yet, but it's really interesting. They are from all over the world. So they're going to be one from Spain, one from Chile, one from South Africa, one from North Korea, one from France, one from the United States. I'm assuming they're still anime style.
Yeah.
They never actually said that. But it is definitely going to be animation of some kind. So I'm actually really intrigued that now we're getting sort of international animation artists that are going to be participating in sort of the Star Wars universe to sort of tell different stories. So it was fun. It was fun.
Did they reveal any kind of like number of episodes or anything like that? No. Okay.
No, they showed us this map of all the countries that that animation was going to be coming from, and Japan was one of them as well. But that we didn't get any footage. I think they're still in the sort of pre-production stage. Sort of getting. They probably have the studios, but they haven't really developed any stories yet or anything like that. So it was fun. It was really, really fun.
Yeah, I know that wasn't the biggest hot panel of the weekend, but
there were several super hot ones.
Yeah, that like you said, that was the only one you got to, but that's still interesting to see. And that's we haven't really talked about it in our podcast, Visions. It's not something you and I offline talked. It's not really our favorite thing, but I do appreciate, and I'm sure you too, kind of seeing a different take on Star Wars and different voices getting an opportunity to tell stories. So that's pretty cool.
A Puerto Rican podcast invited me to talk about Visions in their podcast right after they came out, and so we did a 1-hour show in Spanish talking about it, and it was a fun conversation because we had very different opinions about which ones we like and which ones we didn't. And so it was really interesting having sort of the different views about how to watch Visions and how to enjoy Visions. But it was fun. And of course, this celebration was a celebration where some people got to see a little trailer for Mandalorian season 3, and they actually showed the Kenobi first 2 episodes to a group of fans the night before, and we got a little bit of footage about the new Ahsoka show. So there were lots of big
stuff,
kind of things that I only got to hear in the hallways. The one thing that I found really interesting, there was a Filoni Jon Favreau panel. It might have been on the first day or the second day. I don't remember when it was, but it was in the morning. And at the end of that panel, they announced that they had brought what this t-shirt is called the Mandalorian Experience, which is basically a little museum with pieces from the Book of Boba Fett and the Mandalorian.
Cool.
The Ahsoka costume was there. The entire Naboo ship that Mando puts together in Tatooine, Bantha's Tusken Raiders, the head of the Rancor. They were just all sorts of amazing things. Grogu was inside the ship saying hello in the little animatronics, and people were crying. There's a picture of me like sobbing next to their costume of the costume of Ahsoka. It was really, really good. The throne, the Boba Fett throne was there. That used to be the Jabba the Hutt throne. Like all of that. Somebody told me that where they filmed the show, it's like 10 minutes away from the convention. So it was very easy for them to just drag all that stuff, dump it in the convention for a couple of days, and then drag it back. But it was a marvelous experience. This was one of my favorite things. Number one, because nobody was expecting it. Nobody knew that they were going to do it. They just announced it at the end of that one panel. And I just happened to hear about it, and I stood in line for maybe 30 minutes. So I went when still a lot of people didn't know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people try to do it the next day, and the lines were like, typical Star Wars Celebration lines that end forever. So I got lucky.
I was gonna say you got a little early access compared to the rest of the crowd.
I got lucky, and it was, and at the end there was a store, because there was always actually a store. And I said, okay, I'm getting the shirt because I went there. And now I get to wear it in my podcast. So was fun. That was fun.
Oh, awesome. What was what was the biggest surprise about Celebration? Was there anything that you weren't expecting that did show up, or something?
There are two things. There are two things. Number one, I bumped into Claudia Gray.
Oh.
I'm walking down the hallway, and there's this woman with a mask, and I'm like, you look like Claudia Gray. And she's like, I am Claudia Gray. And I was so struck. I don't remember what I said to her. But I asked her if we could take a picture together, and somebody that was with her took my camera and took a picture of us, and it was just a few seconds, but it was really lovely telling her how much I enjoy reading her stuff and all of that stuff. And then when she walked away, I was very professional. Then I started crying after she walked away, so because I didn't want to be that fan that sort of breaks down in front of her, sort of like, oh no, another psychopath. So I very professionally walked away and cried somewhere else. So that was a big surprise. When I was in Celebration Chicago, I did the diorama, the DIY-orama, which is a gigantic project that happens during Celebration. It is all fan made. In Chicago, they did the Battle of Scarif.
Oh wow!
It was just incredible. It was just incredible. And I was there in Chicago. I would spend 4 hours making my little square of the Battle of Scarif, which included 2 palm trees, a few stormtroopers, and then the grass of the thing. I still have the palm tree, so I want to show it to you. Look at that!
How cool!
Look at that beautiful thing. This is masking tape.
Oh.
Sort of folded and then cut and then put in little wire things.
Interesting.
These are like little beads that you paint so they look like coconuts. And then this is all masking tape on a straw. And so these are it's just really, really marvelous. And so that was Chicago. And so when I went to the Celebration in Anaheim, I said, I want to do the diorama. They had a master class with a miniature painter who had been doing it for decades. And so I joined in this group. We were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. The youngest one was about a 9-year-old girl. And I probably was the oldest one. And we did Banthas. Because this year was The Mandalorian season 1 and season 2, and they chose one scene from each episode. And of course, season 2, episode 1 is let's go kill the Krayt dragon, and so there has to be a row of Banthas going to where the dragon is. And I painted one of the ones that was later added into the diorama of it. It was really wonderful, and it was really nice having that sort of personal attention of somebody giving you techniques and doing things. We were all doing it at the same time. And I had never really taken a class. When I did it in Chicago, they would give us like general instructions and we would do what we could. But this was like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours of somebody guiding you, shading colors, do this first, do that first. When you use the hair blower, put it from the top so the paint drips down, so it all stays vertical. I mean, it was just really, really great.
That's neat. Well,
and that was quite fun to do.
You said there was only 6 of you guys in the whole.
In that class, it was only 6.
Yeah, so that's incredible, and there's thousands of people that go to Celebration, so there's an opportunity to be in such a small knit group.
Yeah.
That's probably not going to happen again at Celebration.
And they did multiple ones.
Oh, did they?
And
okay.
I think in each class they did like a different part of the diorama.
Gotcha.
I just happened to be there. I think it was Friday, the second day. I had been an Imperial officer most of the day, and I was just tired of cosplaying. So I went back to my car, changed in the parking garage. So I'm in my underwear, changing into like regular clothes, and then ran back to the convention to do my master painting because I didn't want my Imperial officer thing to get full of paint.
Yeah, that's funny.
So I went back with a regular t-shirt, a regular Star Wars t-shirt, of course, because I'm a real fan.
Exactly.
And then did the master painting with that. That was really fun. That was really, really fun.
I know a lot of times at Celebration they do, like we talked about, exclusive panels and things they show off. Were there anything of course they're going to sell anything they can to you? Was there anything interesting that you saw that maybe you didn't buy or you thought about buying at Celebration?
There were lots of things. They really were lots of things. I'm not a toy collector. I'm not a Lego collector. I don't do any of that stuff. And there were lots of things like that. You could buy there was like a Luke Skywalker watch, and there were all of these things. I don't do those things. I did get, because I love stickers. I'm gonna turn off my background so you can actually see this well. There you go. Where's my house? And so these are stickers. It's like the alphabet of Star Wars with different images.
Yeah. Each letter has a different character.
Each letter has a different character.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I really love these.
That's beautiful.
I bought this for a friend, so I hope that this friend doesn't watch the episode yet, because I want her to be surprised.
Don't want to spoil it
when she gets it. So I got to make sure.
That's cool.
I got to make sure I show it to her. And the other ones, and these are for you, which you will get eventually. Nice. They also had special covers of the comics, in this case, the High Republic comics. And these were for sale. They also had an Obi-Wan one from the very first issue of the new series that is happening now. They have lots of things. I mean,
I'm sure.
I spend way too much money. When I was buying miniatures, there was this German guy. He would have sold me my own mother. This person was like the best salesman I've ever had in my life. I would ask a question and he would answer it with a way that is sort of like, of course you want to buy this. He was great. He was really great. I don't know where he came from. I don't know where he went. I don't know his name. And so there's lots of things to buy. You can buy t-shirts. The Ashley Eckstein store is there. Her Universe.
I think it's called Her Universe.
Her Universe. And I bought this beautiful long sleeve Ahsoka Tano shirt with the little logo of Ahsoka Tano here, and then in the back it says "I am no Jedi," cool. Which I will probably put on in one of our podcasts.
I think I bought something from her store as well.
It's really beautiful. So if you want to spend money, you have lots of opportunities for that. Lots of opportunities for that. But my main reason for Star Wars Celebration is cosplay. The cosplay that I saw was pretty magnificent. And Nick, I have a little slideshow that I'd like to sort of add. So you're going to turn into a smaller screen so we can look at this.
So I guess this is a good time to say, if you guys are listening to the audio version of this, go check it out on YouTube so you can see this. Because we're just going to be looking at images and you're probably just going to hear me say, wow, that's cool. Oh, that's neat. You're not going to know what the heck I'm talking about.
Yeah, so pause your Spotify, go to YouTube, finish the show there. These are all mixed and matched, but I sort of wanted to give you a sense of the things that people do. And some of them are just, this is not a very complicated costume, but it is a very effective costume.
It looks good.
It's just really, really great. There's Admiral Holdo.
Wow.
And she has a 4-day pass, so she was there every day. The little blue wristband that she has in there, that was the health screening. You needed to be vaccinated. And so you need to go somewhere to show your vaccination card and your ID.
Gotcha.
And so I had to shower with that thing and sleep with it for 4 days. It was annoying.
Love the Dr. Ephra too. That is incredible.
And the Dr. Ephra is really fun.
Oh my goodness.
There were several. There were several Dr. Efforts. There were several Admiral Holdos as well.
That's cool.
This is actually one of the few people that I know, for some wonderful reason, every time I was at Celebration, I saw him. His name is Kareem. He's from Canada. And I saw him on Thursday, I saw him on Friday, and I saw him in passing on Sunday. And I actually met him in Chicago. He had this beautiful gender bending Ahsoka. It was a bearded Ahsoka that he did in Chicago that was just really gorgeous.
Huh.
One of the really fun things about Celebration is that there's the people who make droids. They have their own exhibit room, but they also have the droids sort of running around the convention. And this was one of the ones. And of course, there's the Padme on the right.
How beautiful.
And that's me reenacting the scene from Force Awakens with a real droid. And I was talking to R2 and just sort of saying, "I'm sorry, I abandoned you." And and of course, once you do these poses, there are just dozens of people taking pictures of it.
Oh yeah.
So there were lots of people taking pictures while I was doing this. And I asked the droid maker, sort of like, "Do you mind if I touch your droid and do it?" And he said, "Go ahead."
I was gonna say I might be a little biased, but I personally love your Luke Skywalker cosplay. It's my favorite one you do. It's so cool. It looks incredible.
Pretty marvelous. It is pretty marvelous. My friend Rebecca made it for me before I started learning how to sew, and then she taught me how to sew, and I made my other ones. But this is a pretty special one. I love that costume.
Yeah, it's really good.
Look at that Ewok! My God!
Goodness. Oh my! The detail is incredible.
No, the detail is amazing.
Wow.
I had a full body picture, but then I took a detailed picture because it was just really well done.
The cosplay,
really well done.
The technique and the craft that goes into this is it's incredible. It's awesome.
Really amazing. You know my love for porgs. You know my love for porgs. So I got a big one.
How massive.
She was big. She was big. And she was around, and she was a hit. Oh my God. Everybody wanted to take a picture with her.
Poor porg looks terrified.
And she had like the pork sounds. It was like a little automatic sound thing.
Nice.
So she would be making the pork sounds as she was walking around. There were other porgs, but this was my favorite. She was pretty fun. That was my first day. Hera.
Oh wow.
Look at that. We were standing in line for coffee. In Celebration, you develop what we call line buddies.
Yeah.
And so when you're standing in line, you chat with the people in front, you chat with the people in back, and she was right behind me, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I gotta take a picture of you." It's really good. She did a beautiful job. Beautiful job. There were lots of Heras. Actually.
That's awesome.
There's Quinlan Voss on the right.
Okay.
And the one on the right and the left is Darth Talon.
Yes.
I don't know much about her.
She's a Legends character.
She really? Okay.
She is. She was in I might be wrong. I believe she is in the I don't know. I don't think it's Old Republic. She's in a comic series that takes place years before the Skywalker story. So
okay. And they were fun. And
that's a cool costume.
I had a long conversation with them, and they were just lots and lots of fun. So
that's neat.
Celebration is very friendly.
Yeah.
And for the audiences that have never been to Celebration, let me tell you, the toxic fans stay home.
Good.
I have never seen any issues or conflicts or problems. I mean, people disagree about things, but everybody does it in a really nice way.
Yeah.
It's not, you do not need to be afraid of that, because that just doesn't happen.
That's nice to hear.
The queer Vader.
Oh, wow. That's fun.
And he was a flaming queen, let me tell you. he was wonderful. He was just wonderful.
Is his cape the entire pride flag? Is that what that?
No,
or does he just
on
have
the
one
sides.
draped?
On the sides.
Okay.
The back was black, and then the sides were
Gotcha.
the flag.
Gotcha.
He was fun. He was really fun. You can see my mechanical hand in my costume there.
Yeah. Wow. Like
Holding
father, like
my-
son.
holding my white mask with the little R2 logo on it, because that was the appropriate one for. That's a cosplay. There's a person under that.
Yeah. How fun.
It was really fun. It was really
bantha.
fun. A bantha. It was a small bantha.
It's
Shorter
a
than me.
baby. It's a calf.
It's a baby. Okay, there you go. A baby
It's a
bantha.
calf.
Baby bantha.
That's so cool.
Another Legends characters, Mara Jade.
Yes.
And there were several Maras. There were several Maras.
Very popular. Very popular
Yes.
in Legends.
This man was a delightful man. He was in his wheelchair, dressed up as Chewbacca.
Oh.
If you zip up the entire thing, the whole thing turns into the mask of Chewbacca.
Cool.
I wanted to see his face, so I asked him to open the zipper so we could see him in the picture. And he was there with his whole family. They were all from San Diego.
Oh.
I think like 4 generations of his family, all running around celebrating Star Wars.
That's cool.
And this is one of the really awesome things about celebrations. Like, you have babes in arms, and you have people in their 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Enjoying celebration in really fun ways. It's just really quite fun. A female Han Solo. And I had seen her as a Leia like 2 hours before.
Oh, wow.
So she was changing costumes during the
wow.
day. She was changing costumes during the day.
That's cool. That's dedication.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I do one cosplay a day.
Oh.
Look at that.
Oh, I love it.
Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, goodness. That's
just
cool.
Really marvelous.
That's
just
cool.
Really, really marvelous.
I love that.
Yep. Went the wrong way.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Those are nice.
Clone Wars last season troopers.
Are those so now are these do you ask people about their costumes when you're
sometimes. These look like they were made by them. They don't look like
that's what I was thinking.
The ones you buy.
I was just curious.
But they still look amazing.
They still look incredible. That's
really
good.
They're very good.
The attention to detail is so good.
Yep. And I think no, there's a few more. That's me.
That is
second day, my Imperial Officer, which I just made in December after a few meltdowns of trying to set those sleeves. But pardon my modesty, it looks really good.
I think so, yeah.
I'm still getting used to the idea of being a bad guy. I'm just not used to this idea at all. But
I wanted to ask you this question. I forgot. Did you see? I saw it on. I believe I saw it on Instagram. It was a TikTok that somebody had made. I don't have TikTok, but I saw it on Instagram where at Celebration there was a girl. She was dressed up as an Imperial officer, but she was her title was like human resources or something. So
I did not see that.
She was going around to all the Imperials, and she went up to a director critic and said, "Sir, can I have you sign this for me, please? An initial to get this approved." And then she'd go up to like people with stormtrooper costumes, and she's like, "I'm gonna have to write you a citation. Your helmet's off." It was hilarious.
Oh wow, that's awesome!
People were loving it. It was so funny.
No, I did not. I did not see that one.
I would have loved to see your interaction with her. That would have been funny.
I don't know if you can see it from there, but in the background of this picture, there's a Shack T.
I do see that. Wow.
I had not noticed that one. There were just so many. I mean, I'm sure I missed hundreds of things.
Yeah.
I met a couple on Friday, and she was going to be a Sith version of Ursula from Little Mermaid the next day.
Oh, wow.
And I would have died to see that, but I didn't go to the convention on Saturday. So I missed that cosplay, and I might have missed her. I mean, there were tens of thousands of people in this convention.
Yeah.
I have not seen online like final numbers of how many people came. There were a lot of people.
Ooh, that's a cool one.
Yes, there's.
Neat. Oh.
And this man said that the headdress was very heavy.
It looks big. I imagine. I wonder how long he was able to wear that.
Yeah. But he was great.
Imagine.
There were quite a few I don't know if these people identify as transgender or not, but there were lots of male amygdalas in the different costumes.
That's awesome.
It was actually quite common to see them. There's a beautiful Twi'lek. She was Fawn from Colorado.
Nice. Were there a lot of, I know we've already mentioned it a couple times, were there a lot of like gender swapping with characters?
Yes.
That's really neat to see.
Oh yes, absolutely.
That's awesome to see.
There's Mother Talzin.
Oh, that's cool.
I
love that. How fun.
Isn't that delightful? I thought that was so cute.
Oh, that's adorable.
The children were having a blast.
I bet.
I remember asking a little boy, he must have been like 4, and he was in his like baby card, all tired, and he had a really awesome costume. And I asked his mom, like, can I take a picture of your son? And she said, sure. And so the mom said, this man wants to take a picture of you. And he got out of the baby card and posed for me with a big smile for me to take a picture of him. It was just delightful. It was just, I thought I had him in here, but I must not have him. There's an R2, a Yoda, and a Luke.
Oh, cool.
And they're a family.
That's
cool.
A family. I love it.
Yeah. And she has the R2 shoes as well.
Oh yeah. That's nice. That's a fun trio.
George Lucas cosplay.
That's a good one. I like that one. That's a fun one.
It is really fun. And on Sunday we were all sort of like, we need a drink.
Yeah.
It's funny, on Thursday and Friday I barely saw people drinking. On Sunday, everybody's like, okay, screw it. Give me a screwdriver. Yeah. Give me a margarita. And so I think I want to end with that one.
How perfect. I love it.
The handlebar mustache in a male slave Leia, and the little whatever it is that he's drinking, orange vodka. Who knows?
That's
I didn't ask. And I like the little Greedo charm that
I didn't see that.
That he has next to the belly.
Yeah.
That was fun. And the pack of Camel cigarettes attached to his brassiere.
He's being resourceful.
It was cosplayers are resourceful.
You have to be.
So that's a little taste.
Yeah. How fun.
It is. I mean, cosplaying is not only doing it, but watching it is just delightful. And the creativity and the way that people sort of play with the notion. I remember in Celebration Chicago, there was a Darth Maul in a tuxedo with a martini glass. That was just, he was one of my favorite cosplays in Chicago.
I saw oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
I was gonna say I didn't get to go, but I did see some of the YouTube streams that they posted online, and there was one panel. I don't remember which one it was exactly, but in the back you could clearly see him. It was a guy, and I think you told me, I texted you about it. You said you saw him walking around. He was a guy that was dressed up like he's a Twi'lek, but he dressed up like Loki from a Marvel across, and he had the little Loki horns, and he was a Twi'lek, and that was a fun one. I enjoyed seeing that one a lot as a Marvel and a Star Wars fan.
I remember seeing him. There was a wonderful Sith Wanda. A wonderful Sith Wanda. She was amazing. She was amazing. So
that's a lot of fun.
This is what happens at Celebration.
Yeah.
The food was good. The food trucks were great. Just so you know, if you like to eat. I had a lobster shrimp grilled cheese sandwich.
Holy cow.
That
sounds fancy.
Oh, it was so good.
Oh wow.
Oh, the food trucks were great. I eating inside the convention was not nice. The food was sort of less than okay. but the food trucks were great. Once again, long lines, in the sun, in the desert. Because it's desert. I'm sorry. It was low humidity, so I didn't sweat, but it was
Still toasty, I'm sure.
It was toasty. And when you have a black Imperial Officer costume on,
right,
the temperature adds up. The temperature
makes it a little more
up.
hot.
So anyway.
So I guess they're going to London, as we talked about earlier, in 2023. That's April. Neither one of us are unfortunately going to get to go.
No.
And I know, I guess for people that don't know, they don't do this yearly.
That's correct.
They only do it. Obviously, they didn't do it in 2020 because of COVID, big pandemic. They were planning to do it because that was the 40-year anniversary of
Empire Strikes Back. Right.
Next year is going to be the 40-year anniversary of Return of the Jedi. So I assume they're going to have a big celebration for that.
And we're hoping that there will be a Revenge of the Sith.
Right. Well, and this one
anniversary celebration in 2025.
This year was the 20-year anniversary of Attack of the Clones. So there was a lot of stuff celebrating that.
Oh, there were lots of things. Yes. There was a panel on Attack of the Clones.
So I'm sure we'll see in 2025, wherever that may be. I'm sure they'll do something for that.
Yep. And one of the nice things about the panels is that many of them are recorded. So you can watch them on YouTube. That's what I was doing at night when I got home.
Yeah.
When I was exhausted and my feet were just, I can't move anymore. I would just sit down in my bed and just watch the panels I missed. So
and that's how I kept up with what was going on and different things, news that was breaking or new trailers and stuff like that. I know we talked about earlier, they did release footage for Mandalorian season 3 and Ahsoka, and they haven't released those. Oh, and Bad Batch.
And Bad Batch season 2 as well.
That's right. No, they
lots
haven't released. They didn't release the Ahsoka Mando yet. Those are kind of Celebration exclusive things.
Correct.
In the past, though, I have noticed they have done. If they'll show it at Celebration, usually a day later or something, they'll release it online.
Yeah, but they haven't released those.
They haven't released those, so
it's been a week.
I was gonna say it probably isn't coming.
And you were saying that the Ahsoka show is being filmed right now. So whatever it is that they're filming, it's not the final product.
Yeah. So I'm sure they want to put something out that's more polished, looks a little better.
We don't even have a date for it, right?
They just announced that during I think it was the first day they had, maybe the first or second day they had a panel. They said Mando was coming in February of 23, and then Ahsoka would be after that. So I'm assuming this time next year,
maybe
Ahsoka
spring.
probably.
Yeah, maybe spring. Yeah,
spring, early summer. So
anyway, I think we should wrap it up. But I hope that this is a good taste for you, Nick, and for the audience. Of sort of getting a sense of what Celebration is, in case you haven't been to it. Maybe you're a new fan, and this is sort of a new thing for you, and something that you might want to do. And maybe in the future, Celebration will be close to you, and you can just drive or
make
or walk. And so in the past, it's been like Anaheim, Orlando, Chicago. Those have been the ones recent.
And Celebration's been going on since 1999.
Correct. So, and the first one was in like Colorado.
Yeah, and they've done one in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
I mean, they've done them all over.
They did one in Tokyo.
Did one in Tokyo.
They did one in Tokyo. So who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, who knows what the next one will be? But
there's going to be a tendency for Anaheim and Orlando because the parks are there.
That's true.
And that way you can go to Galaxy's Edge. And so that I'm assuming that those two cities are going to be cities that they will sort of go back to a lot.
Probably.
Because I think 2015 was the previous Anaheim. I don't remember. Check it up online. But anyway, we keep talking. Let's say goodbye.
Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget, like us on YouTube, subscribe. And then follow us on Spotify if you like audio. This one might be a good to watch, though. Like I said, we had a lot of things to show off.
Press like, and we are starting recording for season 2. So
coming soon.
Subscribe to us so you can get a notification as we start things doing in fall.
Exactly.
Have a wonderful summer, everybody.
Thanks, guys.